So today we're doing a deep dive into something pretty significant happening in the financial world. It feels like a real potential bridge between traditional finance and, well, crypto.
Hmm.
We're talking about a huge new player hitting the New York Stock Exchange literally today, August 13th, 2025.
Yeah, and this one's been on the radar for a while.
Exactly. And its debut, it's more than just, another company going public. It feels like a real litmus test for crypto's mainstream acceptance.
It really does.
We're dissecting the NYSE debut of Bullish. That's the crypto exchange everyone's been talking about. Okay, let's unpack this.
Right.
Our insights are drawn from recent coverage, specifically an article titled BLSH Stock, Bullish's blockbuster NYSE debut, has crypto traders watching closely.
What's fascinating here, our goal for you, really, is to boil down the most important bits from this.
Yeah.
We want to help you understand why this listing is such a big deal.
Yeah.
What makes Bullish stand out, in a pretty crowded field, and crucially, what this could all mean for, well, both crypto and the stock market going forward.
And that's the key point, right? This isn't just some run-of-the-mill IPO. It feels like a bellwether.
Mm-hmm.
The source material really shows how institutional investors, they're not just testing the waters anymore. They seem to be actively putting capital into regulated, sort of blue-chip adjacent crypto names.
A major shift. Unthinkable even a year or two ago, really.
Totally. So it's a great snapshot of market sentiment right now and just how fast this whole digital asset landscape is evolving.
Okay.
So let's get into the nuts and bolts of this IPO. The ticker symbol for Bullish on the NYSE, it's BLSH.
BLSH, got it.
They priced their IPO at $37 a share. That puts the company's value around $5.4 billion.
Wow, okay. $5.4 billion.
And they sold 30 million shares, raising roughly $1.1 billion in the process.
That's a significant chunk of capital.
And what's really interesting here, the source highlights is that it was an upsized deal compared to what they initially planned.
Right, and that upsize is not just noise. It means the banks running the deal saw way more demand than expected. So much so that they actually increased the number of shares being sold. That's a strong vote of confidence, specifically for this part of the crypto world.
Definitely signals strong demand.
And just for some background on Bullish itself, it's a crypto exchange, obviously, but it has some serious heavy hitters behind it. Peter Thiel, for instance.
Right, the Thiel backing is notable.
And maybe crucially, it owns CoinDesk, the crypto news outlet.
Yeah, that's a unique angle.
Barron's even flagged this debut specifically as one to watch, pointing out its kind of broader market implications.
So drilling down a bit more, here's where it gets really interesting, I think. Why is BLSH generating so much buzz?
Well, there are a few key things.
For one, like we mentioned, it priced at $37, which was above its already raised range. They were initially targeting, $32, $33?
Exactly. Pricing above an already increased range that just screams strong institutional appetite.
Yeah.
And it certainly adds fuel to the idea that the IPO market, particularly for digital assets, is, well, heating up again.
And speaking of institutions, the source mentions some big names showing interest.
Yeah, this is huge.
Yeah.
We're talking about players like BlackRock and Cathie Wood's ARK. They apparently indicated interest in buying up to $200 million worth of shares combined.
Wow. BlackRock and ARK?
Yeah. I mean, if you connect this to the bigger picture, that's a massive credibility boost for a crypto-native company going public.
Absolutely.
Think back just a few years, that kind of blue chip embrace. For a crypto exchange IPO, it would have been, frankly, unimaginable.
It really shows a mindset shift, doesn't it?
Totally. It's not just about the money flowing in. It's about acceptance from the giants of traditional finance.
And there was clearly momentum building into today. The reports mention oversubscription.
Right.
And just a general positive vibe around crypto-linked stocks this summer, all pointed towards a potentially strong open.
All the ingredients were there.
Okay, so let's clarify exactly what Bullish does, what makes it different. At its heart, it's an institutional-focused crypto exchange, right?
That's the core, yes. But the source highlights what could be its strategic advantage, its moat, so to speak.
Which is?
It's this blend of the trading infrastructure with media and data, mainly through owning CoinDesk.
Ah, okay. The CoinDesk piece again?
Yeah, this combo could give them an edge, not just in attracting liquidity, but also in, market intelligence, brand awareness, that sort of thing.
Interesting.
And their positioning is also quite specific. Bullish seems to be targeting deep liquidity, primarily in the big names, Bitcoin, Ethereum.
Not the whole universe of smaller coins.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're apparently not chasing that long tail of altcoins. They're sticking to the most established, most liquid assets.
Which makes sense for institutions.
Precisely. It aligns directly with the risk preferences of more sophisticated, larger investors, which, raises an important question about how effectively this focus caters specifically to them.
Okay, so let's talk about the setup for day one for today's trading. The financial news outlets were all reporting strong demand. The deal got upsized, it priced above the range, all green lights, basically.
Right. And those conditions, they often point towards a pretty volatile debut. High volume is almost a given.
So potential fireworks at the open?
The coverage we looked at suggests BLSH could very well open significantly higher than that 37 IPO price, given the oversubscription, the general momentum in crypto IPOs this quarter.
Yeah, a pop seems quite possible.
All right, so now that trading is actually underway, what should people be watching? What are the key things for you to monitor?
Okay, first off, obviously, is the opening price itself. How does it compare to that 37 IPO level?
Right. Does it pop or does it fade?
Exactly. A strong premium confirms all that demand we talked about. But if it opens strong and then fades back towards or even below $37, well, that raises some questions about near-term positioning, maybe some flipping.
Makes sense. What else?
Beyond just the stock price, you want to look at the exchange itself. How's the liquidity? What are the spreads like, especially for Bitcoin and Ethereum spot trading? And derivatives, too.
Because that shows real institutional use. That's where the rubber meets the road for institutional adoption. If you see deep liquidity and tight spreads there, that's a very positive sign for their core business.
And then looking out a bit further, how might the stock perform after the initial dust settles?
Well, the source material notes a pattern with recent high-profile tech and crypto debuts. They often have strong initial runs.
The IPO pop.
Right. But then they tend to be quite sensitive to the broader environment. Macroeconomic news, shifts in crypto sentiment, specific headlines, it all plays a role. It's likely to remain a dynamic situation.
Okay, so let's try and synthesize this. What's the bottom line as BLSH kicks off trading?
Look, BLSH is launching into what seems like a very receptive market. You've got that clear blue chip interest we discussed.
Yeah, the BlackRock ARK angle.
It was an upsized deal, priced high. And critically, it has this differentiated model, the exchange plus the media arm with CoinDesk. That really does set it apart.
So a strong setup.
A strong setup. And this combination, it isn't just about Bullish itself. It kind of signals maybe a new phase for crypto's maturation, where institutional validation is becoming a more central theme, perhaps moving beyond just the retail hype cycles we saw earlier.
And this is all happening, importantly, as overall crypto market sentiment has generally improved through 2025, right?
Absolutely. The timing seems favorable. So you put all that together, it really sets the stage for a high-profile opening day, likely with elevated volatility as the market figures out the right price. Price discovery in action.
So yeah, Bullish's debut on the NYSE today, definitely more than just another listing. It feels like a real bellwether for institutional crypto interest and just how this landscape keeps evolving. It's a fascinating moment to watch these markets.
It truly is. And maybe a final thought for you to consider. Given Bullish's unique model, that exchange plus media approach, and its very deliberate focus on institutional liquidity in just the major crypto assets, what does this high-profile debut really signal about the long-term maturing, the mainstreaming of the whole cryptocurrency industry? And what kind of questions does this raise for you about how digital assets and traditional finance are going to, well, interact and maybe even merge down the road?
Those are great questions. Definitely something to mull over. We absolutely encourage you to keep a close eye on this space and continue your own exploration